I started playing when I was 13. I got injured. I used to play basketball in middle school and got injured. Took an arrow to the knee. After that, my dad bought a guitar, wanted to learn, and it never happened. So I picked it up because I was bored, and I started playing. That was awesome. So.
Being a young man, everybody has to deal with issues on a daily basis, no matter what they are, whether it be high school or family issues. And kind of my escape from those things was music, listening to music, shoving my head into headphones and just escaping from them. But more so than that, I think it was finding a way to relate to someone else who may have had the same problems. And I think as I grew up, I realized that was something that I wanted to kind of perpetuate and continue, almost pick up where the people I used to listen to left off.
I've always been really obsessed with music. Used to always carry my dad's guitar around and mess around with it. I really didn't know what I was doing on it. And they decided one day that they were going to go and buy me my own guitar. But what got me into rock music, middle school, my dad went out and bought me a Blink-182 album. And I listened to it obsessively for like a year. And I don't really listen to pop rock anymore, but that's really what got me into to want to play the guitar and eventually the bass and everything else. So
I like the school band, and of course my brother was in it, so I was like, I gotta follow that, I gotta be in that too. So he was a drummer, and I thought, well, I'm gonna be just like my big bro and be a drummer. And I don't know, after that I seen more people playing guitars, and I still wanted to pursue drums, but I saw the guitars and I was like, man, that's so cool, I want to play that too. So I've liked music for a really long time, and that's kind of what I wanted to do, I guess.
I've been listening to rock since I was in like 3rd grade, 4th grade, Pearl Jam and Stone Temple Pilots and stuff like that. Picked up a guitar probably 7th grade, started playing drums 15 or 16. I just like doing it, and it's a great way to stay in shape.
It's so long ago. I was driving my Camaro, so 16. I was 16, and I'm 27 now, so 11 years ago.
My first experience was actually with my brother, who was, he's playing guitar for us now, but he played drums, and we both played drums when we were growing up, but he did it more seriously than I did.
When we first started, we were kind of just me and Brandon and another guy. We were kind of jamming in a small bedroom.
And we had a guy named Dustin Sharp, and he was playing guitar for us, and we never got off the ground.
I wouldn't consider that playing with a full band. Brandon started working somewhere, and he met up with a drummer, and the drummer had a guitarist that he was playing with, and for some reason we were like, all right, let's get together with these guys and see what they're like.
You sit down and you think, I want to play some music, but when you actually sit down to play music, you realize that there's a lot more to it than that, and it's kind of an eye-opener for me.
Played alone for a long time. There was a guitar class in my high school. They wanted to start playing and want to put the band together. And then I figured out what timing was. We had really bad timing. It's awful. So that was bad. But you learn, and you live and you learn. So now I'm in this, and it's so bad.
The first time I'd ever actually played with a group, my cousin Daniel went out and bought a drum set. We were all excited because somebody had a drum set, and we would all play music, but it wasn't like a band kind of gathering. Two people would have guitars and stuff like that. Somebody had drums, so we had to go play guitars with the drums. We didn't even know what we was doing. That's how I ended up being on bass, because nobody wanted to play the bass.
Before I started playing drums, I used to play guitar with some guys. We wrote some alternative songs and played classic rock covers when I was probably about 17 or 18. After I played drums, we played our first show somewhere in Oneida. It was fun. It was a great way to stay in shape. Of course, I listened to a lot of hard rock,
Modern rock.
a lot of metal.
Ben Burnley, my biggest influence of all, I think. You'll notice a lot of similarities in technique and stuff. I try to utilize as much of it as I can while not, ripping off his style.
When I first started playing, it was all the generic ones like Eddie Van Halen and Angus Young and Slash. Nowadays, it's Clint Lowry from Sevendust.
The bassist from Audio Slave and Rage Against the Machine.
Joey Jordison.
Pete Lafleur of Chevelle.
I love the bassist from the second album on A Perfect Circle.
Mark Tremonti.
John Paul Jones.
Chester Bennington was one of my earliest modern rock influences. I always wanted to be able to scream just like Chester, and that was where my focus was. And as I got a little older, I started realizing it's kind of a whole package deal.
One of my biggest influences is Slipknot. I've always been a big fan of them. Mostly metal these days. There's just too many to name. I like a lot of bands.
So the versatility of all these singers is kind of what I'm striving for.
Zach Myers, Shinedown.
Justin Timberlake. That's it. Next question. Seriously,
Michael Barnes of Red.
Breaking Benjamin.
DJ Ashba from when he does 6 a.m. stuff.
Static X used to be one of my favorite bands. That's what got me into like really heavy music. And then I kind of got into heavier music like Mudvayne and Slipknot and Disturbed, which Disturbed is not super heavy. But I started calming down. And that's about when I got into Breaking Benjamin, 3 Days Grace, Red, Seether, you know, modern rock. So that's kind of like the stuff I like. And I'm sure you hear, you know, that stuff come out of me and the rest of the guys, as a matter of fact.
A lot of percussion-driven music. It's a great way to stay in shape.
And I don't like to pick favorites because they're all great, but more than likely it was the Divide We Stand EP release party.
The Bowery Still in Cold release party. It wasn't like officially Still in Cold release party. It was actually Divided We Stand's demo release party. But we kind of tried to, you know, throw in our single there. Not trying to steal any thunder or anything. Go Divided We Stand.
It started off like any normal show. You know, we loaded our gear on, we were opening that night. Hardly anybody there. We were told it was time to start. So we start playing music, and the first 2 songs, we were just still playing to the bands. I think by midway through the 3rd song, the place had filled up. I'm talking wall to wall, all the way to the back of the venue.
That was a very fun show. We opened, and that was the most response we got out of a crowd. It was very fun to play. It didn't matter if we messed up or anything, people still loved it.
And then to see the place just fill up, the energy went through the roof. I mean, from that moment forward to the very last note of the last song, it was just adrenaline-fueled thrill ride.
That was my favorite show.
When I was with a band called Jealous Leeches, we played at a GameStop, and it was horrible conditions. The sound was awful, but nobody came there to listen to music, and everybody had a positive reaction to it. They were waiting on Call of Duty, so they had no interest in us, and they got interested in us like when we started playing, and it was a pretty neat experience because nobody there came to watch us. So
This lineup, Tears To Embers, was playing at the concourse. I'm a stickler for sound. Like if it's not perfect, I'm not having fun, and I'm like a sourpuss the whole time. So I'm like a little girl whenever my sound's not right, and it was pretty awesome. The sound, I thought it was probably the best sound guy I'd ever worked with. So
I think I have a favorite show everywhere that we have played. We had a good show at the Long Branch. We had a show at 90 Proof. We had people moshing at. That was fun. We had a good show at the Bowery. Had a lot of shows with some people. Had a lot of fun. And it's a great way to stay in shape. They shouldn't.
I've often wondered that, and it's taken me time to really come up with because we like to go commando. And you know, some people say that it's hard to see, but I can see it. When we're your commando, you can see it. There's nothing holding anything. You can just, we go commando. And trust us, the straps are up high enough so you can see. So, and if you don't believe us, you know, just say something out in the crowd. You know, one of us will pull the back of our pants down and, you know, we'll show you. So,
that one's simple. We give out pancakes. We don't give out pancakes, I lied.
No, seriously, it's fun. I mean, get out, do something, listen to some good music. We try, I guess, you know. It's fun, man. It's just good to go out and relieve some stress and everything. Jam out. It's a great way to stay in shape.
That's a very interesting question. Well, because no matter how much a person can enjoy listening to their favorite band, their favorite CD at home, in the car, on the way to work, wherever, it's never going to match up to the experience of watching them live, for better or for worse. But at least you can say that you got to experience it. So come out and see for yourself why you should watch Tears to Embers.